Hello, welcome to Reframing Mindset Podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day.
Okay, welcome back to the Reframe Mindset Podcast. My name is Colin Folks. This episode I talk about learning taxes. Because doing this 9 to 5, and what happened was seeing the taxes being removed from my pay. You know, and normally, or you, what happened is that um, when you usually hear about taxes, there usually be a negative connotation towards it because it'll be like the government's taking my money and all those stuff. And when I worked hard for it, that's the normal connotation. So it's one of those things where you know when it's taken, it feels that way. It feels frustrating. But the next thing is when election comes around, when election comes around, and then all these big proposals and all those stuff. One of the next reason why there's a negative connotation towards taxes is because you you money is being taken from it. Tax money is being taken from your account and from your pay or whatever you do. And then what happens is that you you every election time they have these big promises from politicians, big promises and all those stuff. And what they're supposed to do is that if they get elected, they're going to use the money that they take from the taxes to actually implement those stuff. But what? So you put the faith in the politician to do that, but what are the things you don't realize is that why as civilization or why a society really improves through the government is because the citizens never take the time to understand what is a taxes and what is the money supposed to be able to do. So when it's being taken out of the account, the pay slip, you took a time to actually understand what those money that have been deducted, what do they mean? And then when you understand what they mean, then you understand, okay, so these are the benefits that I'm supposed to be getting. So I should actually be being rewarded for these stuff. So in those cases, what you may not realize is that when they are being taken, those services are actually y- for you to be used, but it just be a situation where you did not take the time to actually learn about about the benefits of use, what it's used for. So you never actually get the time to take advantage of it. Like for example, um, one of the pays, one of the things that will be taken from my pay was something about insurance, and national insurance. So it was one of those things where it'd be like, no, you know, doing the work and actually getting a health card and see the benefit of insurance and understand that okay, so I'm going to live a long life. I'm going to be working, paying taxes and stuff like that. I understand what's the benefit of insurance now. So my next move would be to actually understand how to access this benefit of this insurance that the government is taking out of my pay through taxes. You know, that would be my next move to actually think about that. One of the next things that I usually see that is taken from my pay was also um taxes relating to housing. So So with the taxes, one of the things is that when you work, after a while, where I'm from, you can actually take the time to actually access benefit to get housing. So when I work for a while and stuff like that, I have the option, and this is just theoretical. I haven't fact check it as yet, but one part of it is that I could actually be able to claim a house after a while, after I accumulated certain points of doing work and taxes and such like that. Or this is the part that I don't really actually fact check as yet. I could actually apply for a refund where I could actually say, okay, I want that money back because I don't actually need the house. So, with that being said, doing that, I actually know, okay, they're taking the money from me and it's frustrating. But with me having the knowledge of where those monies are actually going, then I could actually say, okay, boom, I can help. I am as a person can actually hold the government accountable in the sense that hey, you're taking this money, I'm supposed to be getting its benefits. Not getting that benefits, then you're not actually doing that job. So you're not. So it, so you learning, you the person, individual learning about taxes with a benefit to you in the sense that while it's being taken from yourself, you basically say, okay, you're taking it, but I understand now that because you're taking it, I'm supposed to be getting these benefits. So I understand what is the use of these benefits and then use them accordingly. And doing that then lowers your animosity towards towards taxes being taken as because you know what it's being used for and then now next time around when a politician proposing all these ideas and stuff like that. That's all, for example, how advanced countries wanting. So we have the politics in my country, and then I usually watch before I actually got nihilistic towards politics. I actually look at the politics of a very more advanced country. And one of the things was that all the citizens, when the politicians were coming around proposing their ideas, one of the advanced things that the average citizen was able to do was ask, how are you going to pay for those stuff? How are you going to pay for those stuff? Because what happens that the average citizen in that country was advanced enough to know basics what their taxes were supposed to do and understand that okay, the government is supposed to be paying for these stuff. So you're proposing all these ideas. How are you going to pay for these stuff? So that in a sense, that that did not actually prevented sloppy governance, but it's a way to make okay to be like okay the society is way more aware than many other societies because at least they know that when the politician comes and propose a certain idea they have to have some way to actually pay for it. So that goes a long way. That goes a long way. That's one of the thing is now to actually this episode way to actually advance yourself and yourself as a citizen. Learn about taxes that's going to be taken from your pay so that you know how to actually access the benefits. And then also know about the limitations of what Um, so when a politician come and propose certain things, the limitations of what that could be. Know if it's actually feasible or not. Or it could be a situation where you do not really they could actually propose a situation and they have the math to actually propose that is feasible. But in a sense that it's a way to actually once you learn the taxes more, you're able to better hold a politician accountable because you know that okay, you're paying them out of this thing. All the ideas that they are going to propose, they're supposed to be actually be able to do it with this money. So it's like then when you do that now, then you are able to actually have a more understanding relationship with you and your government because you're saying, okay, you know, I'm not going in after a I'm not actually proposing these things off a whim. I actually do the work. I understand what these things mean. So you have to actually make your argument make sense to me. And if you do that now, then then the feedback loop will go on where boom, politicians now have to actually start doing stuff. Doing stuff because you'll be like, if you just propose this thing and it's like, okay, yeah, we will let you do that and we're paying you the taxes and all of a sudden it's not being done. You'll be like, okay, we pay all this money. Where did that money go? Where did that money go? And when they do a budget review and they do that, then you can hold them even more accountable because you know the taxes. So that's a lot of stuff. And why is that important? Because they do that in business. You do it in normal businesses. When you go to a store, you go with your pay, you're buying stuff. You expect, yeah, you go there expecting to pay for that stuff with the money, expect a certain service. And if you do not get that certain service and you pay the money, then there's something skeptical and you basically go there and clear start business. If you learn the taxes, they can basically it would be the same thing. So this episode does one is something that I just realize now paying taxes okay or benefits myself and to you as well so that it can actually benefit you and then you can be one less um, uninformed voter because that's one reason why I never really voted because I never actually I was not making I was poor and I have enough money to do with that. So I would just be trying to survive and then relying on a politician who's going to do something that really affects me. Uh, if you listen to my value of time episode, I have more valuable things to do with my time than to actually out there waiting for a promise. But now I'm older, being an adult, and being directly being affected through taxes. Then when the situation comes around, I'm not naive now. I'm okay knowing that okay, yeah, you're supposed to be doing this and stuff. So that's the thing about learning taxes. You overall when in the future you may actually want to learn about the rules of the different government stuff as well. Just to be more informed. But I don't want to rush that as yet. I'm taking in steps. If you listen to this episode now, it will be like you actually get doing work and getting paid. And when you're getting paid, the taxes will be taken from your account, or you have to pay taxes. So this is why this episode will be relevant to you. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening and look forward for the next episode.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.